Hello and welcome to the 4 steps to a $10,000 a month business. Now, before I get into it, I want to show you some proof. So let me go ahead and switch my screen real quick. So this is from May 1st of this year to August 31st. As you can see here, in May, we made 14,000. In June, we made 14,800. In July, we went down to 8,500. Expenses were a little high that month, but then we started bringing it back up in August to 11,490. So if you average them out, $10,000 a month. How do we do it? Well, let's get into the 4 steps on how do we actually get this done. Now, I want to be respectful of your time, and there is a lot to cover. So again, there's only going to be a 50,000 foot view. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, but over the next 10 minutes, you're going to learn how to actually make this happen. So timer is starting. Let's get to it. So overview of the 4 steps. Number 1, build your email list. Number 2, build your funnel. Number 3, know your numbers. And number 4, do this before you actually start building a business. So let's go ahead and dive into each step. So number 1, zoom in a little bit more. Okay, you want to make sure you bring people into your ecosystem and grow that ecosystem. The best way to do that is with an email. Email is by far, pound for pound, your highest ROI generator. I don't care what people say about social media and whatever, ads doesn't matter. It's all about building your email list, okay? And the reason why is because you can get in front of your prospect at any time and you can continue to build that know, like, and trust factor. Remember, people only buy from those that they feel confident in. And if you cultivate your email list, you're going to have a great time selling whatever you want because people are going to know, like, and trust you. Okay, there's a lot of power in email. And what's that quote from Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. Keep that in mind, okay? So in business, there's 3 types of traffic. There's cold, there's warm, and there's hot. Cold traffic, people that never heard of you, okay? Warm traffic, people who have heard of you, but they haven't actually done business. Hot traffic, people who have bought from you, they love you, they want to go, they want more, okay? So with this 3-way traffic split, we can effectively control 66% of the traffic, right? So there's cold traffic. Warm traffic can be on our email list. This could be leads that have actually never bought or anything from us. And hot traffic, these are customers. So of course, when someone buys from you, you're going to add them to your email list. So with email, boom, we can control warm traffic, hot traffic. And the whole point is to turn cold traffic into hot traffic. Now, why is email so important? Is because it's much easier to sell whatever it is that you want to sell through email. This includes books, courses, podcasts, speaking, events, workshops, masterminds, one-on-one coaching, group coaching. If you want to launch a challenge, if you want to run a virtual summit, if you want to sell physical products like an e-com store, if you want to sell a membership, a newsletter, if you want to sell merch or even services, email is going to be pound for pound your number 1 revenue generator. Okay. Now, how do we actually move cold traffic to hot traffic? Well, we do that with a sales funnel. That's how we build our email list. Now, sales funnels are not a tool or a tactic. It's essentially kind of the way business works and how it runs. You can look at anything and there is a sales funnel in place. Anything from your local library to Starbucks to Cheesecake Factory to actual businesses, everything has a funnel. And again, it's just a system that you can use to turn cold traffic into customers automatically. And the way it starts is we find out what our market wants. Once we identify that, we create content around that idea, and then we invite them in. So the first step for most businesses is some kind of content, meaning it's whatever people cold traffic see in the first place. This can be a blog, this could be an ad, this can be your reel on TikTok, or I'm sorry, your Instagram, your TikTok, whatever is out there for people who have never seen your business and you're trying to use to get attention. That's what content is. Okay. Now, all of your content should have a sole focus of sending people to a freebie. This freebie is what we use to then build your email list. So let's say you're trying to go after first-time homeowners. You want to make sure you have a freebie. Maybe it's like the first-time homeowner survival kit where they can opt in for free. They give you the email, you give them that kit in exchange. Now, once they sign up, you want to go ahead and redirect them to a thank you page. And you want to make sure that on this thank you page, there is a low ticket offer. A low ticket offer is an offer anywhere between $1 to less than 50. It's a no-brainer offer, something that isn't going to be too painful for someone to, they're not going to have to pull out their mortgage to finance this offer, okay? It's pretty much a quick yes or no. And the reason you want to do that is because you want to validate your idea, you want to validate your offer, and you want to build your list with customers as well. Especially if you're running paid ads, you want to make sure that that offer also offsets the cost of ads, so that way it makes more sense to invest in paid advertising, okay? Now, after they go through that, they become customers. Okay, so in order to make this whole funnel process work, you need to remember who is your hungry buying audience and what is it that they want. Okay, once you figure out what they want, you can build out the funnel. It makes more sense. And then keep in mind that you can also offer order bumps and upsells. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you go to, I don't know, I love the Cheesecake Factory, right? I'm there, I'm eating, my server comes around and says, hey, how would you like a drink? Yeah, sure, I'd like a drink. Perfect. Bring on over a mojito, right? At the end of my meal, he's like, hey, do you want some dessert to go with that? A cheesecake? Sure, why not? Bring over the Reese's peanut butter cheesecake, right? So there you go. They've just upsold me and increased my average order value, right? So that's all an order bump and an upsell is, and you can add these to your funnel as well. Now, keep in mind that not everyone who goes through your funnel will sign up or buy. At each step, there will be drop-off. The more steps you have in your funnel, the more drop-off you're going to have at each step, right? So it's the most important thing is to focus on conversion rates. The whole goal is to maximize your conversion rate so that more people go through your funnel. And in order to do that, there's two numbers you have to keep front and center at all times. And those are step 3, cost per acquisition and average order value. So your conversion rates will affect these numbers, okay? Now your cost per acquisition is how much it costs you to generate a customer, and your average order value is how much value that customer brings in on day 1. And there's an interesting relationship between the two. So if your cost per acquisition is greater than your average order value, meaning you're spending $10 to bring in a $1 customer, you're going to be going broke. It's not a good business model. If your cost per acquisition is equal to your average order value, that means you spend $10 to get $10, you're breaking even. You're getting customers for free at this point, which means scale, because it's all about building that list so you can then sell them something later to then make some profit, right? And then essentially the best possible case scenario is when your cost per acquisition is way less than your average order value. In this case, you're getting paid to generate customers, and now it's time to scale. Okay, so not only are you building your list at profit, but then you have a list that you potentially reach out to later on to generate even more sales, right? Now let's go through some kind of example here. A kind of perfect example where, all of our conversion rates are 1,000 at each step of our funnel. So in this case, we want to make $10,000 a month. We're only going to spend $5,000 on ads and send 1,000 people to the funnel. So this is going to average out to a $5 cost per click if we're running ads. Now, 1,000 people go to our landing page, 1,000 people go to our sales page, 1,000 people go to our checkout page, 1,000 people buy, and 1,000 people purchase our upsell. In this perfect world scenario, that means we generated 1,000 customers. We've generated $174,000 in revenue. Our average order value is $174, and our cost per acquisition was only $50. That's how much it cost us to acquire a customer, and that customer brought in $174 every single time. At this point, you should be teaching us and everyone else how to do business because this is awesome. Okay, now let's change these numbers up to a kind of more realistic, what you'll find out in the real world. Okay, same numbers as far as $5,000 to send 1,000 people, so still $5 cost per click. In this example, going through these conversion rates, so now we're only converting at 50% on the landing page, 25% on the sales page, 30% on the checkout page, and 50% on the upsell. We've only been able to generate 37 customers, $1,700 in revenue, $46 is our average order value, and our cost per acquisition is $135. So you see how the tables kind of flip. So now we're losing money, we're bleeding money in this funnel. In this case, we would not continue this. We would try something else. We would do something different. But you can see how conversion rates affect, right, your average order value and customer acquisition costs. But the other thing that affects those two numbers is your cost of traffic. Okay, so here you might be thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to use paid ads. I'm going to do free traffic. You're always going to be paying for your traffic, whether it's your time or your dollars. And it's up to you to determine what that's worth to you. Okay, now let's say rather than paying $1,000 to send 1,000 people, we're only going to spend 1,000. So let's say now our cost per click is $1, assuming we can hit that number. And we're going to use the same conversion rates, right? So we're only spending $1,000 this time instead of 5,000. That means that we've still only generated 37 customers, $1,700 in revenue, $46 in average order value, and a customer acquisition cost of $27. In this case, in this scenario, right, because traffic was cheaper, we're spending $27 to make $46.86 back, and we profit a total of $19.86 on anyone who comes into the funnel, which means that if you want a $10,000 a month business and revenue, you'll have to generate 213 customers, and you'll be spending around $200 on ads, and you'll reach your goal of $10,000 in only 28 days. In total, you'll spend $5,761, right? So that's how much you're spending, but you'll make $4,238 on just the front end. Remember, in this case, your CPA is less than your average order value. So you're getting paid to generate customers, and you're building your list, which then you can leverage to then sell whatever it is you want down the road. Masterminds, classes, whatever, courses, you name it. Okay. So you can continue to scale. So before you start your business and build a website, get a logo made, and set up all your social media and create content and start grinding and hustling, forget all that. Remember, figure out what problem exists in your market. What solution can you create to fill in that gap in the market? Figure out how you're going to monetize that solution. So this would be your funnel, right? Figure out your freebie, your low ticket, any upsells you and order bumps you might want to have. And then where and how are you going to tell them? So where do people hang out? Where do they spend their time? Where do they buy? And make sure you get in front of those people at that time. And that's how you have a system in 4 steps that could potentially generate up to $10,000 or more a month for your business. And there we go. That's the time. All right. So we hit the mark. That's 10 minutes up. I don't want to take too much more of your time, but listen, if you found this interesting, if you found this valuable and you want more, you understand that there's smaller details that go into play here. I highly recommend you go over to www.oscarmgarcia.com. On the homepage there, just sign up for my daily email. My email list gets my best stuff 100% of the time. I email Monday through Friday. Every morning, you'll get an email with some gold nuggets on how to scale your business. So once again, head on over to www.oscarmgarcia.com, sign up, and I look forward to building this relationship and connection with you and helping you grow your business. So with that, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keep on keeping on.